The old oak had stood in the center of Maplewood Lane for as long as anyone could remember. Its massive trunk twisted skyward, its branches stretched wide enough to shade half the block, and its roots curled like ancient serpents beneath the asphalt. Children played under its canopy for generations. Lovers carved initials into its bark. Families held picnics beneath its shade. But one morning, an official-looking letter appeared in the mailboxes. The HOA wanted it removed. Tree removal. Required for safety and landscaping compliance. Many residents gasped. Could they really destroy a living monument older than the town itself? Neighbors whispered, some angry, some resigned. The battle lines were drawn. Asterisk that evening, the community hall buzzed with tension. The HOA president, Linda Carver, stood at the podium, clipboard in hand. The oak tree poses structural risks. Roots are damaging sidewalks, and liability concerns are real. Murmurs erupted. Opponents rose, waving photographs of families gathered beneath the oak over decades. This tree is part of our history, one elderly man shouted. Linda shook her head. Rules are rules. We cannot allow sentiment to endanger residents or property. The debate raged on for hours, with lines drawn between those fearing hazards and those fearing the loss of heritage. By the end, a vote was scheduled, and hearts were heavy. Asterisk news of the impending removal spread quickly. Morning coffees turned into debates. Some argued for modern safety and aesthetics, others cried for history. Children began to leave notes. Tied to the tree, "Please don't cut us down," they wrote in childish scrawls. Local shops sold "Save the Oak" pins. Tensions rose as neighbors argued over sidewalks and roots, forgetting for a moment the unity that once defined the street. Even the mayor attended, diplomatically saying, "We must respect rules but also honor heritage." But the HOA was unmoved. The oak, silent and towering, seemed to watch the unfolding human drama with quiet patience. Asterisk Evelyn, 82, shuffled to the podium at the next HOA meeting. "I've lived here my entire life," she began. "This tree saw my mother swing from its branches, my father carve our initials, and my children play in its shade. My grandchildren climbed its limbs. It is not just wood and leaves, it is memory." Her voice quivered as tears glistened in her eyes. "You would erase decades of our lives for a rule?" The crowd murmured in agreement. Even some HOA members shifted uncomfortably. Evelyn's words hum in the air like a spell, reminding everyone that some things are larger than regulations, they are legacies. Asterisk, a local historian, Marcus James, stepped forward with an old map. "This oak predates the town itself," he declared, spreading a yellowed parchment across the table. "This area was once farmland in 1780. The oak is likely over 250 years old. It has witnessed every change, every building, every birth and death. Cutting it down would erase history that can never be recreated." Gasps filled the room. The HOA shuffled papers, mumbling about liability and insurance. But the residents now had evidence. The oak was not merely a tree, it was a living archive. Asterisk children and adults alike began inspecting the oak more closely. Deep within its gnarled bark, they discovered hundreds of carvings, initials, dates, hearts intertwined. The tree told the story of generations. One carving read HW 1892, another JS and ML 1925. Each mark was a testament to lives lived, memories made. Social media caught wind of it. Photos of the carved names went viral. The world outside the town began cheering for the oak. The HOA's argument of risk seemed trivial in the face of history and emotion. Asterisk, digging beneath the tree's massive roots, Marcus discovered a rusted tin box. Inside was a letter, yellowed and fragile. It read, "To those who come after us, protect this tree. It is older than the town, older than the roads. It is the soul of our street." Alongside it were photographs and coins, a time capsule of community life. The crowd was stunned. No rulebook could justify destroying a living relic with such a plea from ancestors. The oak had spoken through the past, commanding respect. Asterisk, inspired by Evelyn, Marcus, and the children, neighbors rallied. Signs appeared overnight. "Hands off the oak. History lives here. Our roots, our story." Meetings turned into street gatherings, song and poetry about the tree. Karen Carver of the HOA doubled down, threatening fines and legal action. But she was drowned out by hundreds of voices, unified by love, history, and the sheer awe of what the tree represented. Even skeptics found themselves defending its beauty and significance. Asterisk. The HOA sent notices threatening massive fines for those encouraging gatherings near the tree. Contractors were lined up to cut the oak within days. Karen insisted the tree's removal was for the safety of children and property. Michael, a local father, stood firm. He organized volunteers to patrol the yard at night, ensuring no equipment touched the roots. Word spread to local news outlets, a town fighting to save an ancient tree. Public sentiment turned sharply against the HOA, forcing Karen to reconsider her strategy. Asterisk. A thunderstorm struck, uprooting branches from smaller trees, flooding streets, and rattling windows. But the oak stood tall, its massive trunk shielding neighboring houses. Lightning struck near, but not upon, its limbs. The community saw firsthand the tree's resilience and importance. "It saved our homes," shouted one neighbor. Karen, drenched and furious, watched from her porch. Even she couldn't deny the oak's protection. Nature itself seemed to side with history and preservation over bureaucracy. Asterisk. Morning revealed that the oak had survived the storm unscathed, its roots stronger than ever. Birdsong filled its branches, squirrels scampered about, and a rainbow arched overhead. The spectacle inspired all viral photographs and stories shared nationwide. People wrote to the HOA, appealing to reason and respect. Karen attempted to maintain authority, but her credibility eroded. The miracle of survival symbolized what could not be destroyed by rules alone: strength, heritage, and community spirit. Asterisk. The HOA board convened, facing public outrage and media scrutiny. Karen was pressured to explain herself. One member quietly admitted, "Perhaps we misjudged." Michael addressed the board, pleading for compromise: preserve the oak, maintain safety with minimal intervention, and honor its legacy. The board voted unanimously to protect the tree, installing support beams for weak limbs and designated walkways around its roots. Karen, humiliated, was sidelined in future meetings. The neighborhood had won. A celebration was held under the oak's vast canopy. Neighbors brought food, music, and lights. Children hung lanterns from its branches. Adults read stories and poetry, and Marcus shared the history of the tree. Evelyn, tears in her eyes, thanked everyone. The oak was no longer just a tree. It was a symbol of unity, resilience, and respect. For the past, Karen was absent, her reign over the neighborhood officially over. The town realized that the heart of a community is not regulations, but love for what truly matters. Asterisk. Inspired by the ordeal, the town council passed a local ordinance protecting all trees over 200 years old. Violators faced fines and legal consequences. Schools incorporated the oak's story into history lessons, and the tree became a landmark. Residents felt pride, knowing their voices, combined with courage and persistence, could save more than a tree. They could safeguard memory, legacy, and magic embedded in living history. Asterisk. Decades later, the oak still stood, its limbs stretching wide, leaves whispering in the wind. Michael, now older, watched as children played beneath it, just as he had in his youth. Lanterns lit summer nights, fireflies danced near its roots, and families continued the tradition of care and respect. The tree remained a testament to endurance, heritage, and the power of a community united. Its story spread beyond Maplewood Lane, reminding the world that some roots run deeper than rules, and some lives like the old oak are meant to last forever.